Madam Speaker, I rise in opposition to this continuing resolution. All of us know we're having this debate at a difficult and challenging and tense time. We're facing an entirely unnecessary governmental shutdown. A shutdown that's already been disruptive to critical governmental functions and to our communities, and may become radically more so. But we all know, everyone in this chamber knows, this could have been avoided. This is a politically generated crisis. In December, this House faced the possibility of passing an omnibus appropriations bill. 12 subcommittee bills assembled with bipartisan cooperation, with substantial savings relative to the President's budget request, and Republicans in the Senate refused even to consider that omnibus bill. So failing that, we said, what about a year-long continuing resolution? Again, Republicans in the Senate said they would filibuster such a bill. So here we are. What our friends on the other side of the aisle opted for instead was a potential March shutdown that they thought they could use to leverage the Tea Party agenda. Now, I and many others on this side of the aisle have been willing in recent weeks to vote for 2 short-term continuing resolutions to give the process more time. We accepted additional cuts that avoided real damage to the recovering economy or to critical investments. But this resolution before us today, my colleagues, breaks with that pattern. It attempts to hold the House and the country hostage to an extreme ideological position to which the Republican conference has unfortunately caved in. This resolution proposes $12 billion in unacceptable cuts. Cuts that would damage this fragile recovery and cuts that would damage critical national investments. It would take $200 billion from the Supplemental Nutrition Program for women, infants, and children. It takes hundreds of millions from federal law enforcement. It would take millions from the Department of Energy's environmental cleanup programs. It would, in the Homeland Security area, with which I'm most familiar because of the subcommittee I chaired and on which I now serve as ranking member, it would reduce FEMA's state and local grants by 20% below 2010 levels. And both the state Homeland Security grants and the urban area security grants would go to historically low levels. The continuing resolution would decimate the Land and Water Conservation Fund. It would radically cut the Clean Water and Drinking Water revolving funds. It cuts Centers for Excellence for veteran students. It cuts from the Centers for Disease Control critical funds. It would cut $1.5 billion from a critical national investment, high-speed rail. And it would cut the public housing operating funds. 20 additional seconds?
The gentleman has an additional 30 seconds.
Madam Speaker, these cuts are serious business. They have the potential to damage this fragile recovery and to compromise critical national investments. We cannot be held hostage. This country, this Congress cannot be held hostage. This crisis has been artificially created for political purposes, but that doesn't mean we need to go along with it. We can pass a clean continuing resolution and continue the discussions, but we cannot do this kind of damage to our economy. And I yield back.